I don't know what to expect, but let's check it out.
And I have been relatively vocal in saying that is
Let's make sure it's the right spot. Yep, that's the timestamp I've been given.
extraordinarily rare in Canada for us to receive court documents in an ongoing investigation, let alone.
Yes, it's damage control, people, with the RCMP. I have absolutely no doubt they screwed something up. And this is very similar to the Sebastian Rudders case. And remember, when it came to the Sebastian Rudders case, already 6 months into it, I said it's not going to be solved. At the 1 year mark of his disappearance, people said, well, normally at the 1 year mark, that's when things get cooking. Sorry, it's a term from the 70s. And things, if you watch the old Johnny Carson episodes, you will, okay, anyways. That's normal, but I said immediately, nope, nope. I'm not a wishful thinker, and that is the one thing I admire so much about Belinda. And Belinda is, of course, in these shoes of being the grandmother of Jack and Lily's, but the fact that she also openly states, "I don't think they're alive," that is it's a hard step to take. But I like to live my life in a way that I face reality. you know I've had my share of escapism and wishful thinking and all of that, but for me, that was never rewarding to me. You know what I mean? Or believing in the wrong people and trying to see the good in people when there really isn't. I think that statement analysis also has validated a lot of feelings I had my whole life, where I realized, you know what, intuitively we know things. And there's something really wrong with this picture. There's something really wrong with the RCMP publishing this. And again, the ultimate question is always, what are the intentions behind the action?
Court documents that were filed by the RCMP. In fact, it is unheard of. Okay, number one. Number two, there are hundreds of pages.
And by the way, there I call Charmaine, she's good.
Heavily redacted court documents.
The brains behind the operation.
Received articles based on some of that information. Okay. So not only do I think that the RCMP cherry-picked what was going to be released,
yep,
I believe that the media also cherry-picked the information that they were putting out from those court documents.
And the media is government run there, if I understand correctly, right? Meaning they're going to have their sit downs and they discuss what the public is going to see. And that is, in my opinion, too much control in the hands of very few.
So, court documents. And we need to see the court stamp date on those court documents.
Absolutely. Wow. She's saying it, people.
So that we can actually see a timeline of the investigation, where the RCMP were at what point. Because I think we can all collectively agree, unless we're completely ignorant, that there is no way that the RCMP are still going on the premise that abduction is out of the question, number one. They haven't ruled it out.
They say they haven't ruled it out. They say.
No evidence to support an abduction. That's why no Amber Alert. So at this point, I think it's fair to say that the kids were abducted. They did not wander into the woods. And it doesn't matter if it's a family or a stranger. An abduction is an abduction. That is just long and short of it. End of story there. So the kids have been abducted. That's what I'm taking from it. And they're investigating all of these crazy theories. But here's the thing. No matter what Malaya has tipped in, and no matter what Daniel has left.
So more and more people are actually buying into the abduction thing by a family member, and Joseph Morris apparently does as well. And some people told me about. Well, let me go on. Let me hear a little bit more.
Right about the kids still aren't.
But what speaks against it, people? I'm going by the statements. I know Daniel took the ATV that night. There's a boot print of Lily's at the pipeline. Shall I go on? Shall I go on? So, when it comes to other people's opinions, um, let's go on.
Located. There's no way that anybody's ever going to convince me that more than one person is going to be able to keep a secret and keep kids out of the public eye completely for over 3 months with.
Yeah, so there was no abduction, people. And what kind of people are likely to be quiet? Well, in these rock communities, you talk, you die. I mean, these people have loyalty to each other. Of course, they screw each other over, when it comes to, you know, certain things. But I think that there is sort of a prison mentality within certain sub communities in this world where you simply don't talk to the police. I believe Malaya grew up like that too. I believe it's very easy for her to just shut down and say, nope, I'm saying no more. I'm the, oh, you got some money? Now I'm talking. But otherwise, nope, I ain't saying shit. I got nothing to say. So, did Daniel's friends help him get rid of evidence? Yes, I'm 100% certain. 100%. Are any of them going to talk? Nope. Nope. They're in these things together, in my opinion. Maybe Justin will have a weak moment and tell someone, but I don't even think that Malaya, opens up to her friends. I think that she may not deny things if they ask certain things, but I don't think that she's the type that will open up and say, I need to talk right now. I think she's the type that just shuts down and eats it, let it eat her on the inside, so to speak. But it's a weird situation, guys. And just because you can't relate to it doesn't make it so. Doesn't make it not so. You know what I mean?
Without a single sighting, and about that sighting, that Natasha whatever
That's complete bullshit. That was 29 days later. And she said the girl was 9 or 10.
the tan or gold car lady. Riddle me this. Who put Lily in pigtails? Wasn't Malaya. Certainly wasn't Daniel. Even if it was them, who did her hair? It's bullshit. Not only that, these kids that were cited in that tip were dressed for summer.
Yeah.
And weather in boots. So just
Right.
a little bit of reality and scrutiny when we're looking and reading through these articles because we're not actually seeing.
Yeah, in shorts. I mean, what a stupid so called tip or statement for them to actually release in the media. What are they trying to do? Are they trying to convince us? You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking the RCMP screwed up. And what happens in those situations? They may go along with whatever stupid theory somebody else puts out there. Like, yeah, maybe this happened. They don't want to be held accountable. It's similar to the sheriff's office in Hendersonville. Yes, with Sebastian Rogers. They screwed up. And now, whatever theory people have, police say, well, could be, could be, could be. Yeah, talk about that. Go ahead. Go ahead, stupid public. Theorize and argue about each other's theories. Try to defend your stupid theories. You know what I mean? We're cool with that. As long as you people argue with each other, we're not going to be criticized. You can have Stephen Fisher versus so-called at night agency, so-called intelligence agency. You all make up different things, different scenarios, and there's one camp that's on Stephen's side, and there's another camp that believes anything at night says, no matter how many times their lies have been proven, right? When Nick from at night says, uh, we got this satellite image from this new company, and the company representative said, commented and said, "What are you talking about? We are not going to be ready for another year. We don't have that service yet." And people still believe it. They still believe it, and based on that, they make up more theories. It was premeditated. It was Green Hoodie. All of these stupid scenarios, right? So the public usually gets it wrong, people. And how wrong I have gotten it, I realize now that I know exactly what happened in the case of John Benet Ramsey. But back then, my mind went into all types of directions. SA, and the mom went ballistic and killed her because she. None of that happened. None of that. Patsy Ramsey was a very loving mother, actually. She was obsessed. But John Benet willingly participated in these um, pageants, even though she wasn't that interested in them. But she knew she did it for her mom. And I've learned that from also watching the case of John Benet Ramsey on CBS, the one that Burke sued CBS over. So, anyways, I think this is a very important statement from Charmaine. And I think that she is the reasonable person on that panel. I think she is the person that actually, just because she's on that, I look at the people, I look at the specific people, what their intentions are and what they have to say. And I have to say, I think her intentions are very pure, and her intentions are very, she's to the point. So no matter how much BS she's surrounded by and how much BS she may listen to and tolerate, when it comes down to it, she is pretty much the one that will keep it real when things need to be kept real.
The court documents, which probably, like I said, were specifically cherry picked, I believe,
Exactly,
to get ahead of what Belinda.
And this tip from this Natasha is 100% wrong, people. So why do you think they chose this one to actually make it to the media? The media is totally controlled. Why did the RCMP get this one published? There is an intention behind every single action.
She gave them a courtesy call to tell them what she. Did you know that you can call? Was planning on doing. And I think this was an attempt to get ahead of it. And yes, I will admit, Daniel looks pretty squeaky clean at the end of it. Unless they've cherry picked the first couple of months, or
because they don't want to admit that the person they know who did it, they can't get because they screwed up. That's exactly what's going on, people. Law enforcement in Tennessee, they know what happened to Sebastian. Maybe not the details, but they know what direction to look in. They actually told us where they started looking after 3 days. But it was too late to reduce certain things for them. And if there's one thing that a lot of cops are good at, it's covering their asses. They learn how to do that. And it's a tough job, man. A lot of them are undertrained and overworked, and so I am not saying anything to judge anybody, but I still have to keep it very, very real. So the days that I thought that police officers are all competent, oh my God. I mean, if there's one thing I've learned in the last few years, it is just how much incompetence exists in this world, in all professions. And I'm pretty sure that if I asked you about your job, you'll be able to name a couple of people right now who really don't know what the hell they're doing and shouldn't even be there.
Even the first few weeks, and it doesn't include any of his inconsistent statements. It doesn't include any of his bizarre behavior.
Or the CPS issue.
Nothing like that. It doesn't.
Exactly. They left it all out. They don't want the public to go like, what the hell is going on here? How is this guy not arrested yet? They want to keep the public stupid, ignorant, and confused. That's exactly what they're trying to do with this article. I was in shock for a minute when I read it. And I read it here on the air with you guys. But then I snapped out of it real quickly and said, yep, it's just another one of these things.
Include the things that Malaya has done in the meantime. So as of July 16th, the RCMP do not think that it's a criminal.
Wait. Hi, Carla. The article sound more like tabloid fodder. Yep.
Whatever, however it was worded, whatnot. Well, that's well over a month ago now. And can we just, right now, we are not going to be able to rewind and figure out what had happened up to July 16th. But I'm not willing to hang my hat on Malaya is guilty and Daniel is innocent. And we should just take these articles and start talking.
Absolutely not. And again, I avoid opinion pieces, but this has been graciously sent to me by one of you because it seems to be that this is out of the 2 hour live and 18 minutes and 4 seconds. These are the 5 minutes that count. So thank you very much for sending me things because I don't have the energy to listen to a bunch of yapping and stuff, and or not just yapping, but in general I don't want to hear people think unless they have done real research and they are 100% genuine with what they're saying, right? Not just saying something because they want to keep the door open to have somebody like Daniel, come in and speak. And I believe that Charmaine, she holds back a lot of times, but when she speaks, she is pretty damn real. Was CPS even mentioned in this article? I don't think so. I don't think so. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Please do. But this article is really taking the heat off the person that I think they know who did it, but their hands are tied right now. And that's embarrassing to them. And they do not want the public to lose respect for law enforcement. Law enforcement doesn't want that. The media doesn't want it. The government doesn't want that. So this is what you're dealing with when you limit the powers of the people who are there to actually provide free information to others. And that's one of the reasons why I don't really watch TV unless it's on YouTube and it's something very specific. It's a mind control thing, man. I mean, it really is. It really is. It doesn't work with me, it just annoys me. But it works with a lot of people. So the public perception is going to be like, yeah, I guess we were too harsh on Daniel. And yeah, what about the CPS? Everybody has a bad day. Yeah, but Jack had black eyes all the time. Yeah, but who knows? Maybe Maybe he fell. Maybe, you see, I know how people are, how a lot of people are, man. And that's why I say be very selective with whom you guys listen to. And I know that when the article came out, immediately some people changed their mind. And I'm very happy that the people that I'm in close contact with, nope, they didn't doubt what they knew. They were only upset and irritated. And that's something that I very much appreciate. So,
and we should just take these articles and start talking about the facts in those articles, because that is the least of the information, the least of it.
it's an insult, man. It's really offensive. Yeah, Shannon, I agree with you completely. Completely agree with what you're saying. And of course, there are people who flip flop all the time, who don't really have skin in the game, and they don't really care either way, you know. But I do. For me, uh, I like to see solutions. I like to see cases being solved. I hope Belinda, yeah, if Belinda goes forward now with fighting for guardianship, even though she believes that they're no longer alive, you can do that because they're not considered officially deceased at this time, right? She can do this. And then Daniel and Malaya will have to answer in court. And remember with the O.J. Simpson case, when Fred Goldman took O.J. to court, right? The civil case that eventually, gotten O.J. to have to give up some of his property that he wound up stealing back with a gun in his possession, for which he did, 9 years in prison. So just because something is being mishandled doesn't mean we need to give it up. And I think Seth Rogers should do something. He should also do something similar. Get the Proudfoots to have to answer in court. Get them on the stand. If you're listening, Seth, I think that this would be a very good option for you to actually shine light and end the mockery that's being made over your son's disappearance.
Doesn't it somewhat come off like
Yeah.
a tabloid article? Like it really did to me as well. Someone
Don't interrupt, man. It's going to be 1 more minute.
just said that.
I was told it's going to be until 31:50, so, you know.
But that's what it came across to me. Like this whole article came across like I was reading like the Star or the Inquirer, is how it actually kind of came across.
Yeah, I don't read those. I did as a kid, though, man. When it's about a celebrity I liked, I read this crap. The Inquirer. I don't even know if they still have these tabloids. Do people still buy tabloids? I don't think I've seen them in a. Yeah, I used to buy them when I was 13 or 14, Anyhow, anywho, it does read like it reads like fluff. It really does. It's just so I'm again, most people, the moment that something like this comes out, they start flip-flopping and they go like, because it's an official thing, right? It's the media. It comes from the RCMP. But never ever assume that just because something is considered official that it's also true. Never. Never, people. Never. Everything needs to be read with a clear mind. And we gotta be able to change our minds immediately when it's warranted. And we also have to be able and willing and ready to dismiss anything that makes no sense.
It's excited to get some kind of an update, especially, like I said, in Canada, getting court filings filed by the.
And people have been looking for information, right? Keep in mind, the public was looking for an update. They were ready. People were ready to get updated one way or the other. They want to know what happened to these two beautiful kids in Nova Scotia. So they felt pressure to say something. So what did they say? Forget it. That's exactly what they said. Forget about it, people. Get ready for a whole bunch of nothing on our end. I think they're done. I think the RCMP is done.
The RCMP is unheard of, you guys. Unheard of. We need to see those court documents. If redacted or not.
And of course, that's because this is such a high profile case. I don't remember. Okay, there was Dylan Ehlers and there are other cases, of course, but this is such a high profile case that I followed from day one. I think May 3rd or May 4th was when I was getting interested in it, right? I have to look at Sweetie Pilo's Twitter feed because that's how I gotten alerted. And then I watched Joseph Morris's videos on it. And from there, I was, oh my God, there is, just red flag overload. And as I said, it's like more red flags than a Chinese military parade. I mean, that's really what it was.
I don't care.
I don't like to repeat the same jokes, but sometimes when you don't come up with a better one, it's like, yeah, this one was pretty good.
I want to see the court stamp date on every one of those documents.
Exactly.
Because to me, it is next to meaningless because it's just giving us a recap of what went on the first few weeks.
No, it's more than that. It's watering it down and it's misleading people. She didn't have pigtails. You remember the last video with that new haircut? Remember that one? Or the last picture? Pigtails, right? 10 years old with pigtails. Why would they even print this bullshit, people? Why would they do that? And who gave her pigtails that morning? Did she have pigtails in that video of the last day they've been seen? Why would they release this? Why? Why would they do that? Think about that for a minute before you go into the whole and by the way, let me remind you, I said it from the beginning. I heard about the two questions Daniel told us that were asked of him in the polygraph examination. They are worthless. They are worthless. And why did he put a wrench on top of the door? Did Jack get hurt by that? And he didn't kill Jack and Lily, but if you asked him, did you kill Lily? The results may be completely different. So I think I got about 20 more seconds of this.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's the other thing that I said, that this information, people, as the RCMP is talking, is as of July 16th. So that's over a month old. So I would have liked to have seen them make at the end of the statement or whatever, and according to these court documents, say, okay, well, now we're considering this to be a criminal investigation.
They have nothing new, but anyways, I'm done now, guys. So I appreciate very much the candor and the insight, and what can I say, guys? Let me see if I get some messages here. You know what? Let me see some of your comments, guys. So this video of mine is called "Will the Case of Case and Lily Go Cold?" And I think there's a very good chance it will. But I'll keep it hot, people. Of course, I talk about other cases as well. Yeah, they could really try to interview or catch Daniel's friends on camera or something. As I've said, if one of them gets busted for something, bust them for possession or something if you can. Possession for sale, how about that one? And then you tell them, well, you want to do 3 years in the pen, or are you ready to, like, I don't know, witness protection? Why not? If you're serious about solving the case, but I think they're not. And again, I believe also in the case of Sebastian Rogers in Tennessee, I believe that they are afraid of the case being solved because it would expose so many mistakes made. And if you remember the O.J. Simpson case, how these people were torn apart on the stand. No cop wants that. Nobody wants that. They would rather have people in my opinion, forget about it. And of course, everybody's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Everything I'm stating is my opinion only. Okay. Yes, I agree. Incompetence from day one. Yeah, I think so too. It looks like it, right? I mean, it really, really looks like it. Even though I give them credit for eventually looking at the pipeline area. But why did it take so damn long? Look what I figure out. I'm only one person. How many people did they have working there? And didn't it cost over $1 million a day to do those searches? Well, they had to pay that idiot search team leader, right? And the people who, wasted their time based on her instructions. Man, how meaningless so much. Goodness gracious, people. And there we have 2 missing children, 2 human beings. They first had to live with this maniac. Nobody protected them, CPS. And now law enforcement is also participating in the mockery. Absolutely crazy. I like this guy talking. He tells it like it is. My hat's off to you, sir. Keep Lily and Jack in all our prayers. Thank you, Bonnie. That was nice of you to say, and it helps me be able to, read some of the bullshit that I have to read once in a while. Janie downplayed the pipeline area too. Absolutely. When I asked about the boot print up at the pipeline area, she said, yeah, there was supposed to have been one found. Really? Okay, some of you are in chats. Actually, I have a couple of people who are actually in those chats who email me once in a while when there's something I'm missing. I appreciate this so much, guys. So many times, sometimes I do say things without giving you a source. And in these cases, I figure, you know what? Take it for what it's worth. I am not revealing my sources. I know a few things that, thankfully have been provided to me that are not known to the public. And the more I get, the more certain I am about what I have said from day one. And that's very good, by the way. These are the questions I need you guys to ask them. If these people put themselves out there and they have the audacity to go online, even though she always says, "Well, I'm almost done now. Is one more question, otherwise," you know what I mean. She wants to talk. She wants to do damage control. But remember that last Chris Proudfoot interview? They fluffed him up good, and all of a sudden, Sheila hit him with this one question, and he was baffled. That's what you gotta do. Not like Cluminati and Granny's watching, who fluff him up the whole time, and nothing good comes out of it. But the reason you want to fluff them up is because you want them to get into the rhythm of speaking naturally, revealing their natural patterns, so that when they are hit with a hard one, and I don't mean interrogation style, never do that. So, how about you answer us this? And you need to come clean. And no, don't do any of this. That woman just said, "Sir, what do you guys think happened?" All of a sudden. And that may seem very subtle and not even seem like anything specific. But guess what? It is hugely effective. Yeah, there was supposed to have been found. That's major avoidance if she said that. Major avoidance, because we know from the RCMP there has one been found. And she still doesn't want to acknowledge it. Why? Why wouldn't she jump on announcing every possible clue rather than minimizing it? Your comment is wonderful. And I thank you for that. And I'm thankful that you are the types of people that I am attracting with my videos. Even though I haven't even bothered making thumbnails. Should I make thumbnails? What kind of thumbnails should I? Okay, I will come up with a thumbnail for a next video. But you know what? I'm so focused on what I do that anything that's taking my mind off of it is, you know, it hurts my soul. It's hard. It's hard for me to do. I like to keep my flow going, you know? Exactly. I would be clinging on to every single possibility of a lead. You'll notice they never beg the public to help or for the abductor to return the children. Absolutely. She also said in a CBC interview that Malaya sent her a photo of the boot print, which we've never seen. So what the I would love to see that boot print. I'm cursing, I'm livid at these RCMPs. Yeah, you guys get it right. Especially many of you in Canada seem to be very offended by this, and I understand it. I would be too. You know, we are paying taxes for these. You're paying taxes for these people to dig you around. It's actually sus. They filmed the trash can with a blanket. Red flag. Huge red flag, Kim. Huge sensitivity, at least. And yes, sensitivity includes red flags, which is maybe what I should write down as well. But, you know, you have different types of red flags. A huge sensitivity, guys. And I'm expecting you, whenever you start doing your own analyses, that when you start doing your pledge list, priorities, leakage, avoidance, intentions, deception, and sensitivities, this will be the longest list. And as time goes by, some of these sensitivities will be moved towards deception, avoidance, leakage, especially leakage. So never say, okay, I have to wait until I'm ready to do this. And now this is, oh my God, now I have to analyze this. Don't look at it as work. Because it's actually a lot of fun to do. But don't pressure yourself to identify the sensitivity and immediately recognize the intention. You don't have to do that. It will come to you. Just never overlook any sensitivity. Remember that. I love reading you guys' comments, people, and the fact that you're coming from all over the world, be it Canada, South Africa, Australia. I'm over the top enraged. Yep. I know so many people on so many levels failed these innocent children. That's exactly what I just said before when I listened to Charmaine. So many people, same as Sebastian. I mean, at the end, the CPS thing, yeah, they need to be taken. They need to be sued also by Belinda. That's the only way they're going to open up their files. You rocked the live stream, Mike. Loved it. Now they're blaming Cody for the disappearance. The RCMP screwed up royally. Why would they even? I mean, I'm happy about the information actually because it helps me realize just how guilty Malaya is, or just how much guilty knowledge she has, in my opinion. Right? But the public, they already cleared Cody. You know what I mean? So they're bringing up things that they're telling us what didn't happen. They're focused on that. What do they think actually happened? And Starkett, it pisses me off. I'm angry as hell that they have allowed him to get away with this. Yep, it looks like it, people. I didn't expect it. He hasn't gotten away with anything yet. What's done in the dark always comes to light. Kimberly Whitaker. Yeah, Kimberly, and like I said, some of these old cases from 40 years ago, they're going to come to light. But the guilty parties often have been able to enjoy their freedom for 4 decades and violate others in the meantime, right? That is a big problem as well. And whom is Daniel gonna date next? Somebody with children? Yeah, think about that for a minute. You think he's gonna change? Yeah, maybe he'll be clean for a little bit, but you think that's going to last? That dude is a walking time bomb, man. Maybe not in public, maybe he's a well behaved young man, but at home it's a different story, I think. That's what I saw from the very beginning. He may come off like a nice dude in public and know how to speak and present himself, but I'm pretty sure had Belinda been able to see, uh, to have Jack and Lily visit, I bet you they would have told her a lot of things, man, that would have shocked her. And she wanted to give Malaya space. Of course, she blames herself, as anybody would. But you know what? Things didn't work out with Cody and Malaya, and maybe she felt bad about that, and she figured that Malaya needs some time to recover from, I guess, having her heart broken or what have you. You know what I mean? And she had faith in her because she saw her as a good mother. And by the way, what Wade talked about, all the diapers in the basement, those were not diapers. They were moldy clothing items. You know what I mean? So Wade may have gotten a few things wrong, but in a nutshell, he got things pretty right overall. He's getting caught. He's going to have charges up his ass. Well, he may wind up getting caught for some else. You know what I mean? Something may trigger him, and he may go one day, go somewhere, and people say, "You child unaliver," or something like this, and people may fight him. There may be people who are really upset with him about this, which I do. Of course, I don't encourage this, especially not on my channel. But we know things happen. You know, can you imagine Daniel hanging out in some bar with a bunch of rednecks? Oh, there he is. You wanna give me a black eye? Go ahead, tough guy. You know, do what you did to Jack. Do that to me right now. Do that. Show me what you got. This case is not over, people, but I don't think he goes to bars. He has other hobbies. You rocked the live stream. Thank you so much. It was really fun, actually, and I'm thinking about doing it again. Just going live and reading your comments, guys. That was actually really fun. And I will do it the moment that there's a breaking story somewhere. I will not even think about it. I will immediately turn on my phone, get the screen going, and watch things with you. I have to highlight this comment. They are desperate and running out of options. Cody was cleared early in this case, in my opinion. Why you say in my opinion? He was cleared. Hoping and praying that well, I will get more into your comments later, guys. And I kind of like having my videos 40. Hey guys, tell me something. What do you think is the perfect time for a video? The perfect uh, length for a video? I'm very interested in hearing what you guys think about these things. I have my thoughts, but I want to know yours. What am I looking at here? I have so much crap in my phone. What the hell am I looking at here? Okay. Give me a minute. Give me a second. So, I think that's it, guys. Looking forward to the next one.